So let's talk about some of the process here in those guys. First of all, we have to install the plugin for Maya. Let's extract this guy. I'm double click on it, and then I'm going to use Maya 2018. Right, install that. Let's go through the process. Use typical when you have that here already, so I cannot show you that. But just keep clicking, accepting, and use typical as the installation method, and it should be done already. Okay, that's the first thing where we want to go. And the second thing is this Hairworks. Let's also extract it. This is actually the standalone version of immediate Hairworks. It's actually a program that you can use to visualize the Hairwork objects and do some tweaking before you move on to game engine. Okay. So another thing you want to go for is the Unreal Engine Hairworks. Also extract this guy. Okay, do all these things. So this is gonna take a while. I'm gonna pause here, and when it's done, I'm gonna show you some further steps. Alright, while we're doing that extraction, because it's taking so long, we can do some work in Maya first. So let's go to the window, Setting and Preferences, Plugin Manager, and you search for Hairworks. And just check the Hairwork load on and auto load. If you don't have Hairwork, that means some installation problem was happening before. Go ahead and reinstall the Hairwork plugin. Now you should have this menu here. Okay. I'm gonna go open one of the files I can start with. This is the file I left over in the tutorial, right? Previous tutorials. Now this action here doesn't really support the Hairwork workflow, so we have to go ahead and delete it. So I'm gonna go select this and also my guide, hair bond, and hair bond guide. Those descriptions are the ones we're gonna delete. If we delete that, everything will be gone. I don't even need that anymore. Let's create something simpler this time, and from scratch also. Probably don't need the light or the curves, skin material holder, and no lights. Let's just delete all those non-important things, and all I need is just a joint and a skin, and that's probably all the game engine asked for, right? So that's what we're gonna do. And we'll also give everything a Lambert material. Okay. And even go file optimize thin size just to kick out all these other materials I don't really need. Okay, so that's gonna give me a clean scene to work with. All right. So this is also how the file would look like, right? When you export the animation to game engine, you don't really want to have any rig or anything on it, just a joint skeletal mesh, right, with skeletons and skin. So we're gonna go ahead and create a hair system on this head. We groom it and we convert it back to curve, and then that curve then can be accepted by Hairworks to generate a new set of hair that is compatible with the game engine. Okay, so that's the idea here. There's a limitation in Hairwork, which is kind of a little weird, but maybe that's for performance issues. For every individual point you see here on the skull, right, that's one hair gap that you can create. You can't create more than that. Okay, so for every point you can only distribute one hair guide. So a good idea would be just have one hair guide on every individual point, and that's the most you can get. And because of that, there is a problem here too. In Maya, I don't think there is a way to create a curve from a point, every individual point of our model. Right? That would be hard to do. Of course, you can write the code for that, but I'm just gonna borrow one of the other tools we have been teaching for a long time, which is Houdini here. So let me go ahead and open Houdini. while we're doing that, I'm gonna export this head as OBJ. So file, export selections, export it to my download folder. Call this one head OBJ, right? And export selection. All right. When that is done, we can open Houdini and go create a geometry. And instead of it, I'm gonna delete. I actually just use this file to load my download folder, which is here, and load my head. It's gonna be, the head is kind of really high here. We can hold space G to frame it, and then I'm gonna go create a add node. Now this add node, ironically, is being used here to delete geometry but keep the point. Okay, so we have every individual point but not any lines. Now I'm gonna go ahead and create a grid. Okay, I'm gonna make this grid only 1 unit long and 1 unit just 1 unit on 2 dimension, every dimension, right? I'm gonna change the rows and columns to also 2 and 2. So this means if I turn that on and space G to frame it, it's just a square. Then I'm gonna actually do a copy to points to copy this square on every individual point. So now if I turn this on, I can space G, you can see now the faces are being placed on every individual point. Okay, duplicated rather. So I'm gonna go to the file node and create a normal. The reason I'm creating a normal here is because I wanted to actually define the normal direction of the points, so that the add to normals 2 has to be changed to points to give the face a better direction to go. When they are duplicated, they will follow the normal. I want them to be rotate 90 degrees, so I'm gonna create a transform and then give this guy a 90-degree rotation. Now you can see they're basically following the direction of the normal. And then I'm gonna go for a file cache to export this guy out. Let me go ahead and copy everything from my file and go to file cache and paste it here in the geometry file. Just change the head to Hiar base cards. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit save to, oh, before I do that, make sure that you change the frame to just the current frame. I don't need any animation, so save to disk. Just gonna save the OBJ and then back to Maya, go file import and import that head base cards. Now you can see all the cards here being placed. Okay. Meanwhile, if your Unreal Engine is extracted properly, go back to downloads. See, it's here. Now there's a problem with having it here though. It's too deep of a folder structure for it to work. Let's Control X to cut it out and go back to the C drive and paste it here. And it's important that you do this, or you move it here first before you do this, before you extract it. And either way, you want it to be somewhere else, not in the download folder, somewhere that is not really deep. In this case, just the C drive. And we can also double click to go in, even go in here and cut those things out to this actual top folder here. We don't even need that subfolder in the middle. Okay. So either way, try to reduce the length of the folders, otherwise things will go wrong. Anyway, so when you're done with that, go double click on this setup. That goes through the process of downloading the dependencies to this project folder. And when that is done, we can move on to further steps on the setup of Unreal Engine. But for now, let's just do this little step. Okay, move that away. We're gonna go back to Maya and then start generating our hair. To do so, first of all, I'm gonna go to the set view and then grab the faces I don't think needs hair, like these guys. I only keep the faces that are supposed to be having hair growing on them. So I'm gonna delete enough amount of hairs. Cards. Maybe I should keep something from the ear. Shouldn't have done that. So not these guys. But the ear should be gone. Maybe lesser on the bottom, lesser on the forehead, of course. Right, and maybe lesser on the back. Okay, now that's gonna be where we will have hair. Right, so I'm gonna grab these guys, Alt Shift D to delete history and go select all the faces. And then go to the FX part in hair, create hair. Settings will be, we're gonna create nervuses as selected faces and hit apply. And it's gonna go through the process and create hair. But you can see nothing's being created. If you never use in hair, you probably don't know why. The reason it doesn't really create anything, but just give you a hair system with 2 empty folders and then nucleus. Let me go ahead and delete those 4. It's because you don't have UV. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to the UV editor. And then you can see no UV. So UV, automatic UV should be good enough for us. And go to the UVs and grab out the UV and go for a unfold and unfold. Also layout and layout UVs. It's also in the settings, check preserve 3D ratio so that they're all equally sized. Let's do one more layout, just making sure. And that's going to be what you need. So I'm going to go ahead and back to Maya Classic and select the head faces again. Go for FX in here and create here. Now this time it should allow you to just create a bunch of curves. Okay, just that's that little detail I want to show you. And then when you're done with that, you don't even need the nucleus, the follicle folder, or the hair system. Go ahead and delete these guys. Also, you don't even need this guy anymore. So let's also delete this the squares. Now that gives me just all those curves that we need for the hair to grow out. Okay, those are gonna be the guides eventually, but for now they're just nervous curves. Alright, that's gonna be it for this tutorial. In the next one, we're gonna actually go ahead and start using XGen to actually deforming or grooming the hair so that we can really make something more interesting.